morning. Actually, it's good afternoon. I'm Carrie, and this is my first cooking video. Today is New Year's 2021, and what I'm going to make today, I'm surprised I would start off with a roast. But our tradition in our family is that we start our meal off the night before at midnight, and we did that last night. We, of course, greens and black-eyed peas. So my husband and I had that last night at midnight. I have a baby girl here. She's 14, but she wanted no part of the black-eyed peas, so it was just he and I that ate them. So now what I'm going to do is finish my dinner for today, for New Year's. And one of the things that I'm going to have is a pork roast. Yes, pork roast. We eat one of these, at least one of these, every month. We love pork roast. I usually cook them on a Sunday because pork roasts take, at least for me, I cook them for about 3 hours. So I've laid this pork roast out, and what I'm going to do is go ahead on and grab my seasonings, because I'm going to be touching this meat. And it's just basic seasonings. I use some Lawry, some garlic powder, some accent, but I put in fresh garlic, and I cut up some onions. And this is the pan that I'm going to be baking this pork roast in. And as you can see, this is a beautiful piece of pork roast. I'm gonna go ahead on also and start my oven. Preheat my oven, and I cook my pork roast on 350, and I cook it for 3 hours. Now, once it's cooked for 2.5 hours, I pull it out, I take the lid off, and I put in, and this is what my mother used to do, so I continue to do it. I take and I mix mustard and hot sauce, and I slather it all over this piece of meat. And with the lid off for the last 30 minutes, I let it continue to bake and finish up. So what we're going to do first with this piece of meat is I'm going to take this little knife, and I want you to see this piece of meat. It is a beautiful piece of meat. Beautiful piece of pork roast. Okay? I've washed it. I've rinsed it off really, really well. So I'm going to take this knife, and there's a lot of fat in here, and that's fine. And I'm just going to put some slits in here. Just little slits, because what I do is take and stick garlic cloves in it. And that garlic, cooking inside of it gives it the best flavor ever. I've been cooking for a long time. Most people that know me know that I love to cook. I'm gonna put 2 pieces there. But most people that know me know that I love to cook. I don't get to do it as much as I would like because I'm always working. I work 5 to 8 days a week. So most of the time I'll take and I will cook a big meal on Sunday. And see, I'm just putting slits and sticking the garlic right into it. Anywhere I can put a slit, I put a piece of garlic. Made a slit over there, so I'm gonna put a piece of garlic over there, and I'm using 3 cloves. It's up to you to use as many as you want, depending on how much garlic you like. I like garlic. I think it gives food a great flavor. Okay, so now I've put the garlic in, wipe my hands good. I will not cut up my onion until I put my meat in the pan, because I'll cut the onions all around it. But I am going to take my seasonings. Let's get some salt, some pepper. This here is the salt. I'm going to sprinkle some. And then you can see I'm using a rubber board. Okay, I'm not putting it on my wood. I don't want the blood from the meat or anything to go through my wood, so I use a rubber board so that I can just take and wash it off. And now I'm going to add some black pepper. Just season it. And you don't have to go too heavy on the salt either. It's pork, so You know, we really don't want that much. And I'm gonna wipe my bottles off when I'm done because I'm touching raw meat. And normally what I do is go ahead on and open them so that I don't have to play with them too much, but I'll clean them off. Garlic salt, a little accent, and a little Lawry's. Lawry's can be a little overpowering, so I don't want to use too much of that. Okay, and then I take my hands and I rub that seasoning, and you don't need a whole lot of seasoning for pork. Pork is good by itself. Yes, it is. But like I was saying, I like to cook. I learned how to cook at an early age. I didn't really have a choice, but I liked hanging out in the kitchen with my mother. And I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. I like working in the kitchen with my mother. And when I first started, it was more about hand me this, hand me that, until I was old enough where she trusted me to do the actual cooking. And I started doing that, I guess, around 9 or 10 in the kitchen with my mom, and I've been doing it ever since. I love it. When I became an adult, she kind of passed it on to me. She didn't cook as much. She let me do it. And then when I got married, I started hosting all of the Christmas dinners, all of the Thanksgiving dinners. But anyway, while I'm talking, I'm gonna be cooking. I'm gonna take now this piece of roast, and it's just that simple. You don't want a whole lot on it. I'm gonna take this pork roast and I'm going to place it in my clean pan. And you could also use a Dutch oven. Okay, I do have a Dutch oven, but I like to fix my pork in this pan. I don't know why, but I do. I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna put it there. Sit it down just for a sec. I need to rinse my hands again. I'm gonna take this cutting board as well. Put it in the sink. I'm sorry to be off camera. And I'm gonna bring it back over here. Now this is clean, other than a little bit of seasoning, it's clean. I'm gonna sit my roast here. I'm going to grab a clean knife and I'm going to cut up this onion. And if you wanna add more garlic around it, you can. Now, I'm not one to use a cutting board to cut up my vegetables. I was taught to cut my vegetables in my hand. So when you see me using these knives and holding my vegetables, that's just the way I was taught. Now, I've already cut a little piece off of this onion for something else, but I'm going to use probably about 3/4 of what's left here. And I just put a slit right down the middle, and I'm gonna cut it up. This onion is gonna get soft because it's gonna be in the oven for 3 hours. So it's gonna get soft. And just add a whole lot of flavor to this pork roast. Now, I also like to put some fresh thyme. You see me use fresh thyme on a lot of my meats. Love fresh thyme. I'm not even sure if I have any. I might, so I'm gonna look. You also notice I use a lot of paper towels in the kitchen as well. But let's see if we have some thyme. Actually, I do. I'm gonna pick out, it's been in there a while. I try to use it as much as I can, but like I said, I only get to cook most of the time on Sundays. So I'm gonna take some of this fresh thyme out and I'm gonna rinse it off. Just take me a quick sec off camera to rinse some of this thyme off. And actually I could, well, I won't turn you around to the sink, but one day I will. So I'm gonna rinse some of this thyme off. And then I'm just gonna take it and spread it around my meat. Thyme can be strong, so you don't wanna use too much of it. And so now what I'm gonna do, I don't have to put any water in here or anything because this piece of pork is gonna make its own water. But I do want you to see how pretty that is inside of the pan. And I know it's hard to see, but I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put the lid on it. I'm gonna time it. I'm putting it in at 12:20 in the afternoon. It'll come out at around 3:20, okay? And I'm gonna put it right in the center of the oven. And that's that. We'll wait on that, and we'll be back. Now, when I come back, I'm also today, in finishing off my New Year's dinner, I'm also going to make a seafood pasta salad, and I want to show you that. It'll be a separate video, but the same day. And if I have time, I also want to make a pound cake and show you that recipe. But I will be back. Bye. I wanted to show you, my roast is pretty much ready for me to baste it. And I baste it, I told you earlier, with mustard and hot sauce. You see the roast? This roast has expanded so much, the lid is about to come off. See how beautiful that roast is? And I'm gonna take this mustard and hot sauce, that's all it is, and I'm gonna put it, slather it all over that roast. How good is that? Look. How good is that? And when I put it back in the oven for about the last 30-35 minutes, because remember we put it in at 12:20, and we're gonna let it cook for 3 hours. So this is gonna cook the rest of the way without a lid on it. See how easy that is? Take a spoon, spread it, and that's it. I'm gonna push it back in without the lid, and it's gonna cook for another 30 minutes. And it will be done, and I'll come back and show you when it's done. See you then. Hi, I'm back for the last time with this roast. And I wanted to just show you real quick what this roast looks like. Remember, this is a pork roast, and actually it's called a Boston butt. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Boston butt. Yes, the mustard and hot sauce has cooked into it. When we cut it, it's gonna be juicy. And we'll probably eat off of this just for today. And we'll be done. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. And I will be back with more cooking videos. I look forward to you watching my videos. And again, if you have any comments, let me know. If you have any recipes, share them. Cooking with Carrie. Bye-bye.